Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. I'm Vikova, you can call me V, and today I am playing Roadwarden, which I continue to completely love. We've had some problems, but I spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours grinding last week to make sure that we're in a good place for progression. So I think a lot is going to happen today. Hello and welcome to Rowan and Calmly Enveloped and Hugging Sam. It is lovely to have you all here today. I hope you're doing well. Okay. Wait 2 days for the lost, 10 for the wounded, 20 for the ill and mad. Then it's time to grieve. I think we've had that one before. Moving on. Sam says, was the problem being unwashed, hungry, and lost? Those were definitely parts of the problems, but mostly lost. I was usually washed and no longer hungry, because we genuinely have made a lot of progress. So, just before we jump into this, I've brought us right back to where we left off last stream, speaking to the druids for the first time. But if we have a look in our inventory, we were constantly fishing, cooking the fish, and giving them to Thyrsis, the warlock of White Marshes, who will help us once he trusts us enough to deal with the White Marsh problem. We have 36 gold, which is enough gold to hire Dalit, the guard at Pelt of the North, and Zvi, the forager at Foggies. So we'll have, and then we have the bandit who will help us for free as well. So we've got a lot of people to travel with us to the island, which is great. And I've also bought all of the equipment that was available around. So we have a stinging ointment. We have Asterian's cloak, which lets us sleep and regain health even under bad circumstances. We have a bone grappling hook. We have the dragon horn. We, of course, last stream bought our fancy tunic that makes us look fancier than we would otherwise and allowed us to have our 5 out of 5 appearance at long last. What else did I get? I bought the withering dust, which withers plants. And I bought the crossbow. And 16 bolts. So we actually do have the crossbow now. So we should, I believe, have 10 gold after we hire everyone. So this is looking very, very good for us to go to Asterian's island. But we're not doing that just yet, but we've got everything. Hi, Jabel, welcome. Sam says, I've missed quite a few Roadwarden streams. Is this still the first playthrough? It is. Well, like, technically. Obviously, I did lose my save at one point and have to re-catch up to where I was. But this is the first playthrough, bearing that in mind. So yeah, we've got basically all the equipment I could find bought as well. And so I think we're ready. So just to recap, we've finally been allowed to meet with the druids of... what is this location? Howlersdale, which I've been wanting to do since the beginning of the game, so we're going to speak with them. Jabal says, did you manage to feed up the druid lad too? I did. I believe Thyrsis will now help us, so things are looking good. You enter the building site, which has changed quite a bit since the last day of your visit. Elpis is standing in the middle of the yard, surrounded by her companions, yet she needs a few breaths to collect her thoughts. We are glad to see you, Roadwarden. Her eyes make you think of the sky just after a heavy rain. The forest speaker had put us into shame, and we've discussed his words and deeds. Her voice is slow, but you catch its hesitation. We're grateful that the village of Old Pagos will share the next summer with us. The lack of the seed will be a burden, but it will bring us to brighter days. So these druids knew exactly how Beholder worked and were keeping it for themselves to only help their own village, unlike the forest speaker who helped us. So interesting. Alright, we're just gonna go down through like the entire we got so much information to gain from them. I seek knowledge about High Island. And look at this, 5 out of 5 vitality and 5 out of 5 appearances. You receive much better prices and open many doors. You're clean and tidy, you seem healthy, and you have a fancy outfit. We're living in extreme luxury these days. I seek knowledge about High Island. A few of the elders mutter, and she gives them a grim look, as blue as ancient ice. I can help you, She doesn't trust me enough to tell me about the island. Well, I don't think there's anything I can do about that at the moment. I'm maximum trustable. Thias thinks you should know about the plague that has fallen upon Old Pagos. I mean, this is so out of order, because they definitely know that I've cured that plague now, but that's fine. You tell her what you've learned at the village gates, making her lean on her staff, touching it with her cheek. We cannot help with this tragedy. The people of Old Pagos are now our friends, and we will not risk our lives for theirs. She turns toward the rest of her gathering. After their nods, she takes a deep breath. As she speaks, she looks at the ground. Travel south, to the great healer who lives in a cave beyond the Beholder, that spirit that guides us through the swamps. Only he may find a way. Sure. Thanks. Ugh. Why do you speak for the entire group? She steps away, tilting her staff toward the other druids, who look at you gently. There's no master among us. I've answers for our neighbours and I know how to guide them, that's all. For now I'm trusted, but I'm no above anyone, and I take upon myself the burdens of daily life from the shoulders of the elders. One day my soul will get cloudier, or even lost in madness like my mother's before me. Then my lips will be sealed and a better shell will take my place. You can't tell if her eyes show sadness or relief. Okay, tell me about your faith. She tilts her head to the right and looks directly into your eyes. What do you want to know? I'd like to hear your teachings. This is exciting. Jabal says I passed mention of this particular out-of-order issue onto Or, so you're having hit. It may help some future Roadwardens after some future patch. Oh, really? That would be great. Yeah. A lot of stuff around Old Pagos gets very out of order. I'd like to hear your teachings. Give away what you can, take only what you need. From your soul, from the soil, from the fellowship of humans. You'll leave behind only ashes. Accept it and grow in peace. She ends with a kind smile. If you think 'tis nae much, you're right. If you think any soul has enough years to follow this path fully, your soul is already beset by thorns. Give what you can, take what you need. You'll be behind on the ashes, accept it and grow in peace. I mean, I think that sounds fine. It sounds like a similar thing to what I would imagine I would have been taught by the other druids. In my home, our elders taught us the same thing, and I believe they're right. Sure. Why'd I gain a heart from that? She raises her left hand and touches your cheek gently. At first, you feel the warmth of her skin, then you lose track of time, as if her blue eyes have thrown you into a deep lake. When you shake this feeling off, you feel refreshed. That's not right. You should have asked me first. I do think that, but I'm just gonna say thanks. Thank you. What the... I don't like these druids as much as the forest speaker, like, at all. I don't think they're trustworthy. Sam says, joke, me, Devs, there's an out-of-order issue in your game. Devs, look who's talking. What does it mean to be a druid? I mean, I am one in this game, but... To be worthy of trust, our elders have to trust that we'll master our shells under their guidance, and use them to strengthen all of us. Our neighbours have to trust that we're worthy of their food, even if we do no work with our hands. The creatures need to trust that we deserve to enter their woods. She observes you for a bit, and her fingers tap on her staff. This trust would never be put in an outsider. Rights followers have their tablets, how about you? For a moment, you think she's not sure how to answer, but you then realise that she's humming to herself silently. She raises her hand and gestures for you to look around. The world of our ancestors was never the same as the one we see. They had their truth, we have ours. Stories come from humans. The humans think nothing of them, yet prosper. How do you feel about other religions? We do not have to feel about them. If they let us live, we will ne'er strike first. A preacher was here once when I was but a teen. Her eyes get a bit more cloudy. I see that one could take the tablets and grow upon them. But the right burns the freedom of others, and their followers build their grey dead temples from the skulls of those who do not listen. We request trust, not slavery. Yeah, you are quite selfish druids, though. Like, you were just willing to let your neighbours die of plague. Completely preventably. Jabal says, I think you slightly speed ran Old Pagos. Most people take their time rather than nearly bleeding themselves to death out of sheer excitement at finding the blood-drinking tree. Look! I wanted to help the holder anyway, and I had a clear answer. But I was actually looking this up before about what other people did with Beholder, and it turns out people just bring it expensive gifts. Most people don't just, like, give as much blood as you can possibly give without dying. Oh, what a time. Calmly says, good point about healing and consent. A good idea for the TTRPG system I'm working on. Oh! I like that. I'm not going to say they're portrayed as cruel. Why would I say that? Let's change the topic. Here, the humming of the creek is loud and clear. Have you ever met a Styrian? No. Seeing that you wait for a more detailed answer, she taps her fingers on her staff. We had no reason to talk with him. What's your stance on necromancy? She grabs her staff with both hands. The Awoken spit onto the order of things, on time and nature. When held by human spells, they only grow, waiting for the pneuma of corruption to cover their bones. Their will is simple and will never be forgotten. They will hunt for those we care for, and they will drink their blood. Her face hides any emotion. Her voice is monotonous, but her fingers are getting pale. The curse of necromancy doesn't enter our gathering. Okay. Thias hopes to start negotiations with the Merchant Guild. What are your thoughts? She looks toward your axe and clamps her hand over her staff with new strength. We are no ones to tell our village how to act, or how to think. If they decide to follow their mayor, we'll follow. She lowers her voice and her gaze is like a storm. When a bear enters your house, you do not scream at it, nor hold the door for it to leave. You wait or throw it a fish. But if it heads to the bed of your child, you jump on its back, even if all you have are your teeth. For a single heartbeat, you see a red line in her eye. A red line? Oh, a lower mathsy system. I love that, Calmly. Okay, let's see. Have I done all of Tell Me About Your Faith? The only thing I have left to say is there are rumors surrounding druids. Some of them portray you as rather cruel. I'm going to save and ask this in case it enables me to make better friends with them. Because I don't believe that. But nay one ought to seek wisdom in every mouth they see. Her thin lips form a smirk, but her voice gets stronger. The butchers of the Unites are driven by fear, afraid to admit their old malice, to give up on their dreams of power, of comfort. They make us the monsters of their tales, for they want their people to look away as they hunt us. We're a mirror of their weakness, the sun to their shadow. We're the proof that they do not have to rule. Okay. Maybe you can help me with High Island after all? Ooh! There's a lightning in her blue eyes, and while the other druids give you suspicious looks, they say nothing. I wish I could teach you, but the truth is... She swallows, and you notice a hint of shame in her voice. I do not know much about that place. There's but one forest speaker who carries this old tale, and 'tis the elder living in the cave in the south. Ask him. With every word she puts more of her weight on her staff. To do me a favour, and teach you what I canny. Okay. Well, these druids are not Thias, that's for sure. They're not as good as the forest speaker, who I absolutely adore. They were selfish, but they're also, I think they're doing their best. I need your help. I know where I can find a Styrian, but my journey will be difficult. Once you tell her about the island, she puts her left index finger on her lips, thinking. You've protected us from the plague, even though you had to sacrifice the sacred fruit. We do need care for this man, and we see you as a stranger. We will need help you in your journey. Well, alright. Thanks for nothing. I'm looking for a healer? She smiles gently. Ah, you deserve the help of spirits. She leans her staff forward, pointing at you with its top. But it'll only happen when I see you barely standing. To stay strong, one should eat, sleep, and rest. Alright, well, I'm disappointed that they just won't help. Like, I don't know what else I can really do, but... Alright, we've done that. I think we should go to Thyrsus now. What time of day is it? 7 hours. We've got time. Sam says you're not sick enough to help you. I think it's more mechanical. I have maximum health, so it does make sense. I'm not hurt or sick. Oh, wait, they want you to be really sick. I think you're... No, I didn't quite catch that. You're right, Sam. They want you to be really hurt. Peat fields. Thyrsus the Warlock. Let's see if he'll help me now that I have fed him an enormous amount of fish. The gentle breeze is soothing, but spoiled by the sour scent of rotting soil. You avoid deeper breaths. Thyrsus is at the edge of the scarp, greeting you with a polite nod. The creepers idly hang from his arms, resting on the ground. I need you to open... No. I need to meet with Orentius. And I need to be sure you won't make me regret helping you. You know you can trust me, Thyrsus. Help me help you. Aha! He raises his hands and rubs his arms, hesitating for another minute. Finally, he sighs. You're right. Who else if not you? Let's do it. Here's how it's going to work. Tell me once you're ready to talk with Orentius, then get to White Marshes and spend the night there. In the middle of the night, I'll show up with a few friends and we'll clear the way for you. But remember, it's your only chance. Oh, interesting. Ooh, okay. I think I need a big save before we do any of that, but I could do that like right now, couldn't I? Saved. Okay. Tell me about Orentius. I was never close with him. When I left the village to learn spells many years ago, he was but a priest for Vars. Once I returned, he came forward like a prophet, shouting with zeal, warning the tribe needs to prepare itself for whatever. When his followers brought the first dead shells to the village, they were still in the minority, but were ready to fight for him. We could neither throw them all outside for our walls, or... He waves it off. Empty disputes, empty threats. You can tell how it all ended. Any ideas how to convince him? Why would I know? He didn't listen to me. He taps his toes. Be prepared. He quotes Wright's tablets, talks about what's just, right, and what's not. But he also knows a lot about the tribe. If Helvius speaks of you kindly, Orentius will know it. Oh, Helvius hates me, but I know I can't get Helvius to like me without doing terrible things, so I just won't do that. Alright. Who could help me get a better understanding of necromancy? He blows out his cheeks, moving his lips left and right. Well, not the druids, he speaks slowly. Mayhap the monks in the mountains to the west beyond old Pagos? Only they've time to learn about things they don't need to survive. Should I be afraid of him? Will I need a weapon? He's an old, weak man. He wouldn't hurt a rat. But the only way I'm going to convince anyone to help us is if it's clear you're just as harmless. You'll leave your axe by your bags. He says it like it's an order, but you doubt he noticed the dagger in your boot. Are you sure you can get me in? He giggles. You underestimate how many secrets a warlock knows, and how many favours he carries. He grabs and shakes the amulets on his chest, as if they're meant to explain it further. Alright, I'll come back when I'm ready. Wow, okay. 4 hours. I can get to the monks. I'll talk to them and rest there. Yeah. I'm gonna see what information I can get here. Sounds as if you want to know more about necromancy, you should ask Igneous. We don't have access to Toontown here. Oh, I went to the wrong place. Whoops. A few farmers wave to you from a distance and hide behind the gate. Tertia shows up soon and greets you cheerfully. You see a hint of a smile in her brown eyes. It's good to see you again, Strider. I'm just passing through. Sorry, everyone. I meant to go to the library in Stone. A brown and golden monkey is sneaking around the hourglass, avoiding the looks of the dwellers. You spot two groups of hooded figures with lanterns in their hands, either patrolling the area or strolling around. You call the monks by hitting the sticks and the drawbridge lowers. Ailey welcomes you with a cheerful wave of his bandaged hand. Salutations. Glad to see thee in one piece. His young companion is right next to him, observing the sky with a wide grin. I wanted to talk to you. Do I have nothing else I can talk to you about? I guess I'll sleep. Sleep. Your shell feels weaker than your soul. During your morning routine, your eyes remain a bit cloudy. You keep looking around time and again, making sure that no one is watching you. The first few monks are entering the yard, carrying their tools and whispering lazy conversations as they wash themselves in the brook. Soon after, Ailey knocks on the door of the shed and opens it. His companion is holding her hands behind her back, giving you the charming smile of an innocent child. Why am I always ill whenever I sleep here? Okay, well this is worthless. I can't actually talk to them about really anything. Alright, in that case, I'll go to Foggy Lake. I'll wash. I'll eat at Foggy Lake, and we'll go to White Marshes. I'll wash myself in the stream. Get that beautiful 5 out of 5 appearance. I'm not going to get any fish. They will just rot. During my grinding, I realized, I mean, fishing is a commitment. I'm entering Foggy's Tavern. Got some food. So I'm looking about as good as I'm likely to get. So it might be time to gain access to the White Marshes. What time of day is it? Alright. We've got a good appearance. We're in a good setup for trying this whole deal with Orentius thing. Frogs fill the bogs with their songs and hide among the puddles as you ride down the path. Thirst is at the edge of the scarp, greeting you with a polite nod. Let's talk about Orentius. He sighs. Of course. I'm ready to meet with him. Let's do it! A long pause. We'll see. Go to the village and spend the night there. I'll wake you up. See you in White Marshes. But you wouldn't open the path for me? That's fine. Can you open the path? Then you know what I need you to do. He smiles and reaches for his basket. Look, aren't we allies, Thyrsus? He straightens up and sighs. In a way, sure, I guess. He snaps his fingers. The vines know your hooves anyway. Shadowfax interrupts him with a snort, as if he's listening to every word. They'll remember to stay away from you. Cool, great. We're going into the Necromancer village. The group that you encountered at the Old Forest Garden is close to the gate. During their training, they use a meatless undead ordered to dodge their attacks. I approach Valens, here to trade. I always give them as much food as I can. You don't really get any money for it, but they just need the food. There. Thanks, I'll put them to good use. Go to Helvius. I am going to tell him about Glaucia's hideout. To try and gain his trust before we speak to Orentius. It would anger Glaucia, but may help me earn his trust. I know where's the highwayman's hideout. He runs his eyes over your bundles as if you're hiding the band there, then frowns. Well? You describe the old hamlet and the dangerous path leading to it. For a few breaths, you're not sure if he's even listening. Then he points at your chin with his blade. Why are you telling me this? I want your people to prosper. We don't need your help, he scoffs and raises his chin. But I'm grateful for it. We'll see if you're a liar, and soon. Alright, cool. Well, I've done what I could. You want my crossbow bolts? I'm not giving you all of my crossbow bolts. I'm probably gonna need those. I know it would gain trust, but... Alright, I need to hang around here until it's time to sleep, so I'm gonna wait. I've learned about waiting, finally. Jabal said people to prosper. Yeah, that's what I did, but it didn't work out. We'll have to hope it was the best option. Wait until evening. The locals keep their distance, both from you and from their undead workers. Alright, we're gonna sleep! Let's hope this works! Sleeping in a shed. You have to rest on your own blanket. The never-ending sounds of the wall construction and walking skeletons won't help you as you catch a good sleep. With Asterian's cloak, you could ease your shell a bit. Oh, I won't have full appearance! Ugh! The door opens gently. I do still have full appearance. You recognize Thyrsis' silhouette, even though he has no creepers with him, together with a few hooded figures behind the threshold. Once he makes sure you're awake, he also covers his head. Quick, we've little time, he whispers. Dress up, axe behind. We'll move your things onto the saddles, just in case. He stands up and, just like his companions, starts to observe his surroundings. Already prepared, you only need a few breaths. Finally, your hand touches the dagger in your boots. Oh no! Save. Woo! Jabal says you got Asterian's cloak now. I bought everything I could, Jabal, while I was grinding. Do I take my dagger? It might hurt my attempts to talk with Orentius, but Orentius is a zealot. I don't know if talking is going to be enough with Orentius. I am concerned. 9, hi! Welcome. Do we think I should take the dagger? Oh. Jabal says, I would try without, but be prepared to have to do a stabby rerun of the events. Yeah, okay. Well, I've just saved here, so let's go without. I just have to speak with him. I leave it behind. I think we may end up having to kill Orentius, honestly. But... Ooh. Ooh! The music. The dark figures spread. You sneak through the dark alleys, with no undead or guards in sight. A curious girl observes you from an open door until one of your guides pushes her head inside, telling her to go to sleep. You approach the flooded grass, step on the wooden beams, and climb up the squeaky stairs. At the entrance, Thyrsis takes a deep breath, but looks at you encouragingly. Approach! Friendly, I knock gently. Playful, I tap a melody on the planks with my fingers. That's not gonna be it! Distanced, I push the door and walk in. Intimidating, I kick the door and barge in? No. Vulnerable, I push the door slowly. Forgive me for disrupting your peace. Ooh! What do we think? I'm leaning towards vulnerable. I think I don't think Orentius is going to be our friend, but I think Orentius likes to feel powerful. So, distance doesn't seem so bad either, necessarily, or friendly. Just knock gently. I feel like I need to say something. What do we think? What do we think? Jabal says I think vulnerable works. No one thinks I should kick the door down. Oh, I'm so nervous. Rowan also says vulnerable. Let's do it. Forgive me for disrupting your peace. The weak flame dances under the touch of cold air. The man sitting on the bench turns toward you, speaking with concern, like a parent to a child. In years, no peace has been found among these lands. He swallows his saliva, struggling to speak. But join me. We'll look for it together. The chamber is humid and smells of sweat. The single wax candle that stands beneath a brass hourglass, dangerously close to an open codex, whose pages are covered with fresh letters. While the large collection of parchment must be of great value, the man has hardly any possessions. Humble bowls and cups, writing instruments, enough candles to keep him company for the next 10 days. You glance at the single pelt placed on the floor. To sleep on it, you'd have to curl up your legs. Though I'd rather do so without a warden. The priest's voice crackles like a falling branch in dry woods. For you're here to destroy, not build. Before you respond, he turns away. Or why else would my enemies let you in? To bring me a hare pie? They know I won't be moved by you. Okay, so let's not forget, killing Orentius will unleash the undead on everybody. I didn't really bring that up before. I think it's only really just properly hit me that we do know that the necromancer controlling the undead, on his death, the undead will just do whatever they want. And what they want is to eat people. This is so interesting. Tell me your side of the story. My side. He flinches, then raises his wrinkled chin, and clicks loudly as if he's munching on his tongue. What may I say that you don't see? We had to save our people, and I was shown the way to do so. It's not a tale, but our lives. My voice won't make them better or worse, for you can see them carved by the past. As he pulls the neckline of his robe, revealing his skinny neck and chest, you think of all the people you've seen in the village. In this weak light, his yellowish skin resembles the very parchment he uses, tightly stretched over his shell which holds no trace of fat. The hair in his ears and on his ink-stained fingers is thick and neglected, while his shaved face and scalp make him resemble an ill infant. After every few breaths, he squints his two-coloured eyes. His feet are dirty and covered with scratches, while his linen robe is little more than a rag. Alright, our options here. Samsa stares at a hand which has no stabby written on it in sloppy ink. Got it. You must be aware that undead are dangerous. Should a priest of the right really involve themselves with forbidden rituals? Do you truly believe your people are grateful for your leadership? You may have good reasons to do what you're doing. I met this prophet at Foggy's. Oh no, that's suggesting that he's, like, mentally unwell, I think. You must be aware that undead are dangerous, maybe? I'm gonna go with this for now. When left to themselves, like the flame for hearth, he rests his elbows on the table and puts a finger to his lips, rubbing them gently. They're the night that follows a shell's day, but like lightning or the wind, merely part of our world. Okay, our options here are, you say it as if you're awakening the undead with your pneuma alone, but I saw your rituals of blood. Is this a part of our world as well? Once you're gone, the awoken shells will be out of anyone's control and will threaten everyone in the north. You're playing a dangerous game. I think that's a good one. The shells you're using aren't just your own dead, you stole the corpses of other families. Oh no. You may feel strongly about the undead now, but you were already changed your views before. You used to reject any sort of pagan magic. There are ways to get things done without necromancy. Instead, you could support Eudocia's work and use one of her golems. Oh, that's so good. I do want to say that at some point. I would love Eudocia's golems to protect everyone. Once you're gone, the awoken shells will be out of anyone's control. You're playing a dangerous game. At first, he twitches, as if your words have pinched him, but then he twists his lips in anger. And who taught you these old tales? Are you saying you never experienced any troubles with your creations? You're not sure if he noticed that you avoided his question, for his voice suddenly goes stronger, and he rests his hand on his side proudly. 'Tis the truth. My people don't die as much from hard work anymore. The awoken shells may be unsightly, but we've had no accidents, no tragedies. Yet, you add, but he spares you only a snicker. I think I could have used a better response to that. But I don't think I didn't want to drop Ailey in. I don't like Ailey, but I don't want him to get eaten by undead. You say it as if... I think I get to do all of these. So, you say it as if you're awakening the undead with your pneuma alone, but I saw your rituals of blood. Is this a part of our world as well? He moves his shoulders with an embarrassed sigh, but then looks at you with his dark eye and regains his composure. Suffering? Of course it is. The wounds you inflict upon yourself will lead to your death. Don't you feel repulsed when you see what you're doing? The blood is drying on the cups, the corpses you awaken. It must touch your conscience. Blood magic and necromancy may be a part of our world, but so are plagues and famines. We may need to accept them, but it doesn't make them right. I think that's much better. I can say that. He stares into his codex, tapping his fingers against each other. There's thoughtfulness in his silence, if not approval. The shells you're using aren't just your undead, you stole corpses of other families. I'd forgive a starving child who stole a dropped plum, he starts with conviction, repeating an answer he has well memorized. But seeing your frown, his voice grows shaky. Or moving into a pillaged home. I take no pleasure in my deeds, but I've been right to stain my innocence for the sake of others. But you also hurt the memories and beliefs of other families and tribes. Their will deserves to be respected. These matters are not for a single soul to judge. It may all make sense in your eyes, but these things get more complex the deeper you dig into them. There may be consequences you can't see yet, but that are just as valid. If you keep hurting the beliefs of others, they'll abandon you or seek their revenge. I'm not sure which one of these is best. I'm leaning towards not for a single soul to judge. But then at the same time, Orentius obviously believes he knows everything about everything. I think this might also have something here. Jabal says, I wonder if the key here may not be appealing to his self-preservation, because he doesn't seem to care. Yeah, I agree with that. Their will deserves to be respected. I'm going to go with this. It doesn't. His voice is close to a hiss. Okay, that was not it. Not when it stands in our only path to survival. Right's teachings ought to show us how to build a better world for ourselves, not imprison us in superstitions. Alright. You may feel strongly about the undead now, but you already changed your views before. You used to reject any sort of pagan magic. Both light and dark eyes are staring at you as if you're some mysterious mushroom. Mayhap, he says slowly, but I follow no pagan teachings. What I try to master was shown to me by the only spirit, and I'd rather hide my soul than stain it against Right's will. We have not got through. We're probably going to be running this again in a moment. There are ways to get things done without necromancy. Instead, you could support Eudocia's work and use one of her golems. Golems? He waits for you to carry on and has to think about an answer for quite a few breaths. I cannot say I've heard about it. But even if what you're saying is true, we've hardly anything to give her in return. I'll discuss it with Helvius. I move on from this topic. Ooh. Should a priest of the right really involve themselves with forbidden rituals? Yes. Knowledge! He gestures for you to sit down next to him and puts a hand on your shoulder. The many types of ink he uses in his work have left colourful dots on his fingers. Green, yellow, blue, black, red. It is a big thought for a layman, but you can trust me. I put years into studying Right's will, and they're guiding me through all of this. I revealed the truth the Unites and Seekers were hiding in their arrogance, the words they mistook. One day you may understand this too. Knowledge. And I also had an opportunity to study Right's tablets. Can we talk about them? Yes! Ooh! Knowledge. Rowan says you almost thought about it, yeah. In the following minutes, you must admit that Orentius knows his passages well, and is capable of quoting large chunks of old stories from memory. However, you realize quickly that he has indeed misunderstood a few words used by Adir's tribe, and fell into an old heresy, discussed and refuted a few centuries back in the cities. You explain his mistakes slowly, and while he rejects most of your observations, his confidence and eagerness diminish, especially when you mention that he's far from being the first to come up with his ideas. He rests his chin on the palm of his hand, nodding along as you close his copy of Right's teachings. Do you truly believe your people are grateful for your leadership? I only guide their prayers and offer my rituals. I cannot read anyone's soul. His feet are scratching the floor nervously. I'm sure they have many different thoughts, but I'm grateful for our mayor's trust. He's young and impulsive, but honest and brave, willing to change for the better. I saw how Helvius treats the awoken souls. He's cruel, sadistic. I know it said that he trusts him, but it's true. He's not good. I'm gonna say it. He avoids your look. You say this much, yet know not a thing of what's shaped his thoughts, or what's happened to him over the years. He wounds no one. His voice grows stronger. And doesn't deserve accusations, even if... As he pauses, he strokes the edges of his codex gently. Some feel worried around him. Your people walk hungry, they struggle. He straightens up, leaning against the table with his hands, as if he's stopping himself from getting to his feet. How can you throw this at me, Warden? Don't you know our past? I offered my Numa to the others, only after our children had started dying, with bark and toads in their teeth. You try to add something, but he scoffs and waits for you to forget it. I won't listen to what you think of our people, stranger. That's closed off another option. I wish I could tell which options close which. You may have good reasons to do what you're doing. He squints his eyes, sizing you up. But you can still turn around from this path, forget the past, start anew. But you're reaching the point of no forgiveness. Stop before someone stops you. But try to see the situation from the perspective of other tribes. They're afraid. But I have faith you'll find a better path forward. With me around, the peninsula is no longer hopeless. He has no reason to trust me. But the merchants and officials of Hovlovin are interested in the peninsula. If they come here, your people will face persecution. Ugh. Which should we choose? Oh, hello, Primordial Nightmare. Jabal says exegesis win. I don't know how well it worked. Alright, let's see. Which option should I do? I'm sort of leaning towards see this from the situation perspective of the other tribes and turn around from this past. None of these seem very good. Jabal thinks turn around from this. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he cares about the other tribes. I don't think he cares about what happens to him, and he has no reason to trust me. So I think, I don't know what I can say except start again. Jabal says I don't think Orentius cares about anyone outside White Marshes. I agree. Sam says I vote point of no forgiveness. Stop before someone stops you. The thing is, I don't think he will care if someone tries to stop him. He doesn't... He thinks that he's doing terrible things for the good of everyone. He doesn't expect forgiveness. This is very weird. Rowan says we need more "this is bad for White Marshes" arguments. I agree. I'm gonna vote turn around. He looks at you in silence, and you can't decide which eye you should look at. We aren't safe yet, and as long as the roads connect us to our neighbors, we may never be. You can't grasp our decisions, what we went through. You're a child taught to ride a horse, to fight and kill, to carry out the will of the masters, not to overcome the death of your tribe. You may be right, but before I came here, I did my best to learn about your past struggles. The days of hunger, the way howlers took away your timber trade. I want to understand your struggle. Yeah. He looks at you with an open mouth until, finding no response, his eyes and shoulders soften. His stained robe looks more like a grain sack. You leave me speechless, city folk. Your ears are open. I hope you'll forgive my grumpiness. Now I have to call him mad, so let's do that. I met this prophet at Foggy's. You tell him about Caius, his faith, past, and visions, of the great flood of rivers of faith, and of the new cities, and of the judgment of sinners. The priest listens carefully until his patience fades away. Why are you telling me all this? I smile. You know, he's an interesting person. Maybe you two should meet one day. No. Many claim they are guided by the right, but their visions can't all be true at once. How am I to know who speaks the truth? I think he's crazy, so is anyone who claims to be directly led by the right. I just wanted to hear what you think about it. I mean, I'm leaning towards this, but if this is actually, like, trying to open up a dialogue, that would be better. I think I'm going to go with many claim they are guided by the right. He absently stares at his hourglass, taking a long moment before he speaks. That's the question, stranger. I may be pushing this too far. Can't you see I'm trustworthy? I don't wish you harm. I'm going to click that. I didn't bring my dagger. I can't. I still don't understand you, Warden. You came here. His hesitant voice is interrupted by a weak cough, which leaves droplets of blood on his hand. Distracted, he wipes his hand on his robe, mixing the blood with dried ink. I guess we're done here. He spares you an absent glance, then turns around, steps away from the table and falls on his knees. The cabin is so tiny he can lean his hands against the wall. Why do you let me hear this voice again? You think about a response, then realize it's not you who's currently being addressed. I carry all the answers you taught me, yet I'm so torn. I begged you to give me a steady hand, but even now I'm lost, burnt by the things I asked you about. I let him finish in peace. His exhaustingly long prayer gets harder to understand the longer it goes on. The priest's accent gets thicker, while at the same time he adds more and more words from Medea's tongue, and mentions names and events you've never heard of before, as if his worries need a lifetime to unravel. You may not convince the man to trust you, but you've awoken his long-buried fears. After what feels like an hour, the sobbing, snotty man uses the bench to support his sore legs. He stands up and approaches the door. Come, Warden. Time to fix this. All of this. Thank you, Orentius. I don't know what he's going to do. That's the best I can do. I'm not going to say you're doing the right thing. I don't know what he's going to do. Thank you, Orentius. The gust of night wind eases your breath. Only now do you realize how much sweat has gathered behind your neck. While both of the stairs and the pond are surrounded by the dark figures who brought you here, the news has already spread. The other locals, most of them still wearing nightwears, are gathered with candles and lanterns, fearfully observing the building. The prophet, who needs to lean against a walking stick, raises his free hand. The candlelight touches his back, but his exhausted face is covered by darkness. I was wrong. All this time, he utters. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Ah! We need to go back. The silence follows. Then from all directions bursts the mixture of relieved gasps, resentful shouts, and demands to explain what's going on. Orentius walks down the stairs while Thyrsis gestures for you to get closer. He leads you away from the commotion, making sure the crowd keeps its distance. We walk in silence. You end up back at the shed with your belongings intact. Good job, but we now have to do our part. His sad eyes contrast his gentle smile. Don't step outside before dawn. We may have a rough few hours ahead of us. We'll guard the building, don't worry. Without waiting for your response, he joins his hooded companions. Because of the loud gathering, you can't hear what they're talking about. Before I go to sleep, I block the door with a barrel and make sure my blade is at hand. Oh my gosh. Oh, heck! Quest completed, Orentius the Necromancer! What? Oh, what? What? You wake up to the terrible stench of burning, rotten flesh. Once you leave the shed, you head to Shadowfax quickly. It's sleepy, hugging a corner as it trembles, but you find no wounds on it nor any issues with your bundles. As you spend a few minutes helping it to relax, you finally realize there are no undead in sight. The pyres beneath their gathered corpses are far away in the back of the village, but the flames and smoke are visible even from a great distance. Wow! Rowan says, I can't believe you changed his mind. We did it! We did it, everyone! Oh! There's a large group surrounding Orentius' house. The rumor reaches you on its own. Soon after the first awoken was touched by fire, the priest collapsed. He now mutters through his visions, but doesn't wake up. Oh, wow. I approach Valens. I don't think I have anything else for you. I go to Helvius. A man without legs is sitting above dozens of fruit and mushrooms spread on the ground. He picks them one by one, judging if they should be thrown away. Non-undead related village happenings! I go to Helvius. You find him on the top of the wall, helping a few locals place a new brick. You wonder if the construction will ever be finished. The village is now so quiet and empty that you hardly recognize it anymore. Helvius looks down at you, then turns away. You've put a lot of work on me, Warden, on all of us. Get out of my face with your petty troubles. You're still the mayor of this village. Don't turn away the only road warden you have. He lets out a joyless chuckle. You're the second one this year. May the right keep us safe from him. And make your end bloody. After a few quiet moments and a few angry scowls from the other villagers, you walk away. Helvius is barely tolerating my presence. Well, fuck you too, Helvius. You're a terrible person. We did it. Holy cop, we did it! Okay. I'm gonna see if Thyrsis is here. I'd love to decompress with Thyrsis. An outraged shout of birds fills the bog. Suddenly, more than 20 brown birds take off from the grasses, scared off by the sound of hooves. Thyrsis welcomes you by widely spreading his arms and creepers. I still smell the pyres. Orentius, know-all-thing priest, has washed his ears for you. His laughter makes his amulets rattle. I must say I expected much worse things from a city folk, after all the stories I've heard. What did you tell him, Warden? You answer a few of his questions, enough for him to grow bored of this exchange. But even then, he keeps wandering along the scarp. Show me your ingredients. Have I bought everything? You've just got ingredients now. Okay. You owe me. You discuss the recent events, and while the man lets out a grim sigh, he then crouches, shortening the distance between your eyes. You had my word. I'll await your call. Great. I'm heading for High Island. I want to take you with me, just for a single night. I have so many people to come with me now. Calmly says, gentle teasing holy carp after saying fuck you to a character. I say what I want. I go with whatever feels right in the moment. Good. His amulets rattle. I hate having vague debts to pay. Come once you need me, and let's be done with this quickly. Alright, okay. I think we have 4 people to take with us now. This is good. Really, really good. The only thing we have unfinished on this island really is dealing with Howler's Dell. And I'm still not sure what to do there. I'm going to travel to Foggy's, eat, wash, and then head there, I guess. Hi, Foggy. I'd like to eat. Oh, I can tell everyone about this. White Marshes won't be overtaken by its undead. Orentius agreed to abandon dark magic. He did? She waits for your nod, then bursts into laughter. Splendid! Tell me everything, love. Right when you start, she gestures for you to sit down at the table and uses her hand and spells to pour herself a cup of dense mead, while you get a mug of birch sap with honey. She listens patiently, then leans away, scratching her chin with her wrist. When I was younger, we had it easier than you do now. Her wide grin carries more charm than playfulness. Before the war, there were all these patrols, wardens, monks. Not many folks were eager to solve their issues with force. We adventurers only asked for a target and the pay. No one asked us to judge human hearts. I don't envy you. She points at you with her cup, trying to hold both an axe and your wits, but I'm glad you do well with them both. So we can travel around telling everyone. We can travel around telling everyone. That's okay, Rowan. Okay, so how much time do I have? I'm going to travel around letting people know the situation. Oh, I can high SV. I approach the foragers. Oh, I'm not. My appearance isn't high enough. I can't do that yet. I need max. It takes a gold up every time. I wash myself. All right, there we go. Now I'll high SV. Approach the foragers. Let's discuss the price fee. You did well during our hunt, so I assume you know what you're doing. 10 dragons. I won't work for less, ever. I'm good at sneaking, even better at stabbing things, and I move well, climb, crawl. Very well, take this and be ready to leave soon. Alright, easy. I always have by my side what I'm going to take anyway. He takes your pouch and gives you a wide smile. Elan observes the lake. His lips are shaking. I walk away. Okay. That's 3 people. I'm gonna go tell Creeks. We've got time, right? I've got lots of time. I should tell you, Dosha. A group of woodcutters wave to you from the copse growing by the river. Both the path and the yard behind the gate bears fresh bloodstains as well as claw marks. Ela? Yeah. He's rounding a block of wood, preparing a future club. He smiles and puts away his tools. Welcome back, friend. Good to see that you stay safe on the roads. The north will be a bit safer. The priest of White Marshes has agreed to no longer use the undead. He stops in his work and looks at you in silence, waiting for you to carry on. I can't say I was all that familiar with any of this, he says once you're done with your tale. But I'm happy you managed to avoid violence. You truly are our Roadwarden, friend. Can I tell Ephron? No. Can I tell Harva? No. Cool. Let's tell you, Dosha. I can sleep there. You touch the cold shell. The monster's eyes glow red. Strider, come inside. I wouldn't mind a bit of company. The golems let you in. Eudocia's sitting on a stool by the hearth and stares at a sharp dagger that she spins in place. Oh, I could give her Asterian's cloak. I think I will. I know it'll be useful to me, but... Great changes are happening in the west. White Marshes is now free of necromancy. She starts to twirl her hair and looks first at you, then at the ceiling. I knew about a few empty ones there, but was it really much of an issue? The tribe would burn the corpses once they stopped needing them. After you describe the weight of the situation, she grunts in approval. I was wrong then. I mean, I had the same feeling there too. Soon after you carry on with your tale, she lowers her head and takes a deep breath. I've heard enough. I found Asterian's cloak. Her eyes narrow as she runs her fingers over the fabric. The pneuma is still in it. It's going to keep you warm. Put it on a rock and it will feel like a pillow. She falls silent, rubbing one of the leaves with her thumb, as if to wipe off an invisible stain. Where did you find it? Lie? Why would I lie about him being killed? No, 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 no. He sold it to Foggy. Jabal says, I also think we should do a last thorough look around Steep House before we finish at Howler's. I'm not 100% sure there's anything to do there, but I think it's worth being really sure there aren't any bits of evidence left that could tweak dialogue options. I mean, at the moment I have no options with it at all, but I'm going to go back and try. Rowan says, Strider, frankly astonished we managed to avoid violence. Yep, I am! Jabal says, I have a bad feeling Yu is not going to be happy when she realizes he sold her gift. I don't think she'll be happy thinking that he, like, had to flee. I'm not gonna lie. He sold it to Foggy. Your words reach her like a jab. She scratches the floor with her foot and her shoulders slump. You wait for a few breaths, but she says nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a few questions about your golems. No, I don't want to buy one. No, okay, that's fine. 3 hours. Palt of the North. Yes. Hiring Dalit. 9 says, I think the lies to try and spare her feelings. She made the cloak for him and might be upset that he simply sold it, especially given their relationship. 9 says, I still wouldn't do it, but I think that's the reasoning. Yeah, I just feel like saying that, like, that makes it sound like he's dead. Like, definitely dead, died horribly, which also doesn't seem good. I don't know. It felt better, to be honest, but I'm sad that I hurt her feelings. I can't go talk to the guards right now. Alright. I speak to the bandit. No, okay. We'll just sleep for now, because it's very late. I'll sleep in a room to keep my appearance up for 1 gold. A comfy bed with a clean blanket in an isolated chamber. You also get a large breakfast, a wash tub with water and soap, and some cloves to wash your teeth. Looks good. Okay. I don't have to wash. This is so good. The small room is quiet and far away from unwanted eyes. You take a calm bath, rest on a soft mattress, look through the window, and enjoy the minutes of safety. In the morning you find a stool with a large wooden plate bearing an aromatic breakfast, baked artichokes with a weird but tasty roasted lizard. Downstairs, the innkeeper is putting firewood into the stove. He asks if you need anything. The undead of White Marshes are gone and the village suffered no losses. I thought you should know. Thanks, he says slowly. But what happened exactly? Your story isn't long, though the innkeep also asks you about Helvius and Thyrsis. So that's how it is. Well, nice job. He gives you an encouraging nod. Though I doubt Orentius will keep his word. I hope I'm wrong. Oh, really? That's interesting. Do I have anything? Show me your wares. I don't need an elk fur. I'll buy some rations. I'm gonna go outside. Approach the guards. The guards greet you enthusiastically by calling you by your name. A few of them join Dalet and the boar to gossip with you for a few minutes. We negotiate the price of her help at High Island. 12 dragons. You seem to know what you're doing, and I can look after myself. Good patrons get good prices. 12. She weighs the pouch in her hand and places it on the table. Pleasure. Let me know when you need me. Okay. That's 4 people. We have the bandit, we have Savi the forager, we have Dalet the guard, and we have Thyrsis to go with us. This is great. Let's go to Howler's Dell and make sure we finish this. Oh wait, I'll stop at the Elder's Cave. I should tell the Elder. The old druid is at the edge of the pond, staring at the distance, and after you get on the ground, he gives you a hesitant glance. Many beasts are heading for the bogs, he says cautiously. The necromancer's spells are nae more. You try to figure out how he knows it, but he doesn't show you much patience. Explain. Your tale is brief, and the man doesn't delve into details. You took a swing at the cause, near the symptom. He strokes his beard, then smiles gently. We can only wait to see if your cure will work for long. His voice is as warm as a soft blanket. But you acted like a healer, nay a pillager. He's pleased! Yay! Primordial says you and 4 people, that's a full party. I did it! 9 says V is the bard. I wonder why you don't wear robes like the druids from Howler's Dell. I wear what I need, and therefore what is needed of me. He speaks with pride. My ancestors knew such path leads to freedom. Nay empty gestures, but honesty, gratitude, and tranquility. He looks toward the north. Those left in the village are putting their hands into matters that fit the empty-hearted. Their petty clothes are but a costume, nay better than a dress of a merchant, or a pretty rock thrown into a lake. I also felt like maybe they're just like keeping the looks of druids but not really doing the work. Alright, let's go to Howler's Dell. I really want to sort out Steep House before we travel to High Island. I always gossip. You approach the opening gate and swiftly dismount. A guard approaches you ready to take your mount to a stable. Good to see you. How are your journeys? We gossip. The curious locals gather round to take part in your conversation. Recently, 2 teens suddenly announced their engagement, and no soul knows when it started. Alright. Let's save. Let's do a big save as well. Okay. I need to decide what to do with what I've learned about Steep House. I don't know of anyone who could help me take the mayor down. Well, let's not do that yet then. Let's talk to Thyrsis. I can tell Thyrsis about the necromancers, and she'll be very pleased. When Thyrsis joins you, she apologizes for the wait. Welcome back to our village, Strider. You wanted to see me? The necromancer of White Marshes has no more control of the village, and his labourers are gone. You describe your conversation, omitting how you managed to meet with Orentius in the first place. Thyrsis gives you a curious glance. Her green eyes are keen, but you don't find much joy in them. I'm used to being the one who has to fix everything around here, yet you've managed to stay a few steps ahead of me. She lets out a titter. I'll let my neighbours know. They'll gladly hear about your talents. Do we think I should give her news? about the peninsula to see if it has the druids, like, if it makes the druids trust me. Let's hear this. I could use some work. She sighs with relief and gestures for you to follow her to the creek. The light dances on its surface, and you can't miss the fact that its humming conveniently camouflages the mayor's voice. I've a perfect task for someone of your trade. Behind our northern gate, you'll find a road. It leads to a coastal beach that used to be occupied by our fishes. Hit by a cold gust of wind, she adjusts her cape, covering her neck. That hamlet allowed us to watch the sea, and every 10 days we had as many fish and crabs as we desired, without the grace of the villages in the north. She looks into your eyes. However, the rock slide! An earthquake led to a rock slide and has made the road impassable. We weren't ready to clear it, and now almost a decade later the route is too unknown for us to risk long journeys. She raises an arm, trying to place it around your shoulders. Sure. Oh, this is awful. I allow it. Ugh. Jabal thinks the only way to progress this place is to get more work from Thias. Well, I need her trust so that I can take her down, I think. Her gentle hand is as light as a leaf. The druids have convinced my people to accept the way it is, the will of the wilderness. She smells of roses. But enough time has passed. The road grows desolate, and we need to put our trust in ourselves. Help me clear the path, and my neighbours will follow us, if not because of their ideals, then because of their stomachs. As she steps away, her fingers stroke your neck gently. Ugh! Ugh! The more time we spend on the road, the more monsters will hunt us. With your palfrey, you can save us from danger. Help me retrieve the hamlet, and you'll prove to me that you're a friend of Howler's Dell. Start by riding to the buried pass. See if there's any lairs there that would need our interference. You're asking a lot for a scrap of parchment. Oh, but there will be coin, of course. Laughing, she returns to her chair. 5 for helping us clear the pass. 5 for letting me know what you've learned about the hamlet. Another 3 if you have to fight in any of these places. For a day or 2 of work, that's more than fair. I've already been to the collapsed mountain pass. She rests her chin on the back of her hand and listens patiently to your story, and taps on the table once you mention the buried rags. None of us were there on the day of the earthquake, and whatever corpses may be there, they've surely been awoken by the fogs now. She straightens up. It's still better than a wyvern or a lair of harpies. The plan stays the same. You'll take 20 diggers and guards and escort them to the rock slide. Your job is to keep them alive and well. She looks at the sky. It may take many hours, maybe even an entire day, so you should start in the morning. You'll get the first share of your payment once you clear the pass. Yeah, Jabal says worth talking to the druids again. I have to as well. I want the druids' help because I need to take down Thias. I'm going to take care of it soon. Okay. I bring news about other parts of the peninsula? Her eyes narrow gently. I'm not telling you about Eudosha. I will tell you about the location of the bandits' hideout. I know the location of the bandits' hideout. After your brief explanation, she chips in and snaps her fingers a few times. The lumberjack hamlet. It used to belong to Gale Rocks. Now if Glausha starts causing any trouble, we'll know where to strike. Yes, good. Trust me. I can tell you about Yasin looking to purchase Foggy Lake, because that's already been dealt with. That's far from ideal. Allowing 2 inns to be controlled by a single soul may cause trouble for the 3rd one. She points at Ape Ale with her thumb. And in this case, the 3rd one is the one that really matters. She leans back and starts to tap the table with her fingers. I'm not telling you about the Green Mountain. I'm not telling you about Eudosha. You're not the person I want to reveal the monks' secrets to, even though I don't care about their secrets. Yeah. Alright, that's all I have to say. Oh no! Oh no, what's happening? Okay, no, it's not about me, okay. Can you give us a moment? As you frown, a muscular, crudely dressed woman approaches the table, asking Thias for directions. Something about moist logs and breaking boards. You stop paying attention quickly and instead wonder why the mayor insists on holding these meetings outside. She's so busy she needs to be constantly available to others. I'm neither a threat nor someone important enough to be worthy of her exclusive time. It's all theatre. She wants to show how much she cares about the others. I think that's true. It would be inappropriate for a married person to spend this much time with an outsider away from everyone's eyes. Now, it's the theatre. She's so, she's all about appearances. Yeah. Great job. She sends off the worker with an encouraging smile. Though when her eyes meet yours, it shifts into a challenging smirk. Thanks for your time. Alright. I leave the square. I go to Elpis. I have nothing. The druids will not help me. I could use some help on my journey for Asterion. No. I get nothing from them. Will Beon, will you help me? No. Erix, will you? No. Akakios? No. What are you supposed to do here? This is so I guess we're just doing the rock slide. Okay, nothing else to do to progress this plot. Primordial says, I don't like her vibes. She's a creep. And also evil. She's done terrible, terrible things, Primordial. I don't know if you were here for when we discovered it, but... oh, she's awful. Alright. I tell some workers to gather at the gate. It's time to get them to the rock slide. Yes, it is. Let's do it. You approach a few guards and ask them to help you with the diggers. The mayor's orders are already well known in the village. Your companions-to-be are healthy, well-fed, and in most cases young. Their chattering is filled with excitement. The younger ones are eager to mention that they've never been so far away from the walls. The older expedition members are going more to lead and advise. They listen to the instructions carefully and are first to take spears from the guards. It doesn't take long before you're ready to leave. Primordial says I missed it. Nine says we found out a couple of streams ago about some nasty stuff in the Peninsula's history. Want to hear about it? It's really nasty. I'll leave it to Nine. Yeah, we'll clear the rock slide. I think going back to Steep House is a great idea, Nine. We should definitely do that. I asked the guards to open the gate. The workers carry clubs, spears, and a simple wheelbarrow, filled with food rations, water skins, and tools. While one spade and one pickaxe were made of precious iron, other ones were made either from wooden planks, in the case of the former, or deer antlers. Still being in the forest, your companions share memories about their time spent among the familiar trees. Some were helping the hunters carry a large saurian back to the village. Others escorted the druids on their search for rare herbs. But as you get closer to the hills, your companions lower their voices. One of the guards tells stories about the goblin packs without hiding any gory details. Her playful tone makes others carefully look around. Keeping the diggers on their toes could be a good thing. Look out for the harpies also. Yeah, I think I will keep them on their toes. This is definitely going to be dangerous. The guard finishes one more of her tales, looking with a smirk at the workers. That's right, you chip in. And that's why we need to keep our eyes open. Threats may hide in rocks, in clouds, and beneath our feet. I'll ride last, so I've got our backs. Now lower your voices. Let's not cause any more landslides. The others nod, and after you regroup. Okay. We travel in silence. The diggers put on their leather gloves and grab the tools. They don't need you to provide further directions. One of the older men, whose arms are covered with healed claw marks, assign tasks and roles. The guards take place on both sides of the rock slide as well as above it. Finally, as the first sound of the pickaxe cuts through the sky, the overseer turns toward you. He stands silent for a moment, looking uncomfortable with the idea of ordering you around. Since I have the tool of destruction, I should be able to save them a lot of swinging. Yeah, I will help them. You take off your gambesson and prepare your own pair of gloves, telling the guards to take care of Shadowfax. You explain to the overseer how your tool works, and he asks you enthusiastically to give you a short demonstration. Give him a short demonstration. You approach a large boulder, pick up a hammer that belongs to the workers, and place the chisel in a crack. You take a swing, and a chunk twice as large as your fist breaks into shards, sparking laughter and surprised questions. One of them asks you to do it again, while another offers to replace you. The overseer restores order. He instructs a couple of other workers to follow you and gather the loose rocks from the ground, then put them in the wooden wheelbarrow. At first, the work sparks laughter and jokes, but the crew quickly gets used to the wondrous tool. 9 says, remember the destroyed village that was almost certainly cursed? That's Thias' fault. 10 years ago, she tried to unite the peninsula, under her rule, naturally, and wasn't afraid to turn to force of arms. The village steep house stood against her, and her followers destroyed them for it. That's why no one here trusts any of the other villages anymore. It wasn't so long ago that they all took sides against each other, and many died. Yeah, it was just really awful. And it was, like, violently bad. They just killed everyone, and whoever was left scattered. And indeed, many of the people involved in it also scattered. Because they couldn't face what they did. Alright. We'll save a lot of time. The hours pass. The workers are in decent moods. And as far as you can tell, the work goes well. It's time for a break. Everyone leaves their tools where they stand and sit on the flat boulders. They take out their food rations and start to talk about their plans for the evening. I stay vigilant and look for beasts. You stretch out your arms and back, then go for a short walk. An ibex with long dark horns and thick brown fur climbs up the rock face, not far away from here. It's leaning against the rocks that seem too small to carry it, yet remains confident and quick. For a moment it gives you a silent look, not aware that, unlike most predators, humans know very well how to cause harm to distant targets. It jumps on tiny shelves and reaches the top of the wall, where it gracefully walks away. You approach Shadowfax, who nickers at you, happy to take a long rest in such peaceful surroundings. It bows its head and you scratch the bottom of its neck firmly. The Overseer clears his throat, stands up and addresses you. So far, nae corpse. He rubs his scars with a grunt. But there was a boot, aye. Maybe the leg walked away on its own. Better grab your axe. We'll strike as soon as we see it, awoken or not. You ready? Leave it to me and the guards. You that confident, aye? Do nae get yourself killed. Witchcraft is witchcraft. His relieved voice betrays his words. Right now, he gestures for everyone to stand up and gather around him. Do nae move more than 2 rocks at once. Anyone hears anything or sees a bone, stop whatever you're doing and shout. We do nae need nae adventurers. The workers move slowly, breaking, pushing, and carrying away the rocks. The tension is palpable, but since all of them work at once, the progress is good enough. I stand nearby, ready to strike. Ninth, it says, helping people of Halsdale clear this pass is a mistake. I'm hoping that helping the village will gain me the assistance I need to get rid of Thias. But we did save. We have a save back there that we can use, so... Time passes slowly until one of the workers calls for help and you hear a couple of huge rocks fall to the ground. The workers run and, in one case, crawl away from the moving human bones. There's no soul between you and it, though the guards are close and you catch the glimpse of a moving spearhead. You pull out your axe. Hold your positions, I keep my distance and observe the corpse. You stand with a raised weapon, observing the moving creature. Its whitish skull is cracked and the thin arms, held together only by Numa, are reaching out toward you. It doesn't utter as much as a shout, and its empty eye sockets are like an abyss. The crowd observes the creature, at first with frightened gasps, then in silence. After a couple of heartbeats, the Overseer points at the corpse. The bloody bonehead has nae legs! The shock loses its grasp. One of the guards pokes the undead with a spear, and before it manages to catch the weapon, it gets hit once, twice, and many more times until it stops moving. The loose bones scatter around. The first chuckle is followed by bursts of laughter. An old digger looks at you with a smile. Scary, aye? I almost ran away! I'm not willing to rest yet. I push people away and approach the corpse. The undead didn't even have its hips, and it was lucky to sit in an upward position. Was this wretch buried by the tree, or did it get trapped after it died here? Wonders one of the guards, and a digger responds by spitting on the ground. Let's hope nae one was stupid enough to nae burn their dead. The hesitant workers try to stay away from the bones, but then the Overseer kicks the skull away, sparking another wave of laughter. He cups his head around his mouth. Hands around his mouth? Now, there may be another one here, and its legs may still be kicking. Grab your tools. We do need to have more than an hour ahead of us. He turns toward you and nods politely. You know how to get rid of a corpse on the road. What do we do? The dead deserve dignity. We need to burn it. He sighs. Aye, hard to argue with that. Take 5 souls with you. He rubs his hands together, then raises his voice and starts to assign new tasks. Cutting down branches with simple stone axes takes quite a bit of time. You take your tinderbox and gather at an old dry bough standing in the middle of the meadow, and cover it with broken twigs and bones. After a moment of silence, you step away from the burning remains. Without a word, your companions observe the unusual pyre for another minute, and move back to the entrance. At least there are no other undead in sight. As the end of the diggers' work gets closer, they grow tired and annoyed, which starts a few squabbles. The overseer has none of it, forcing them to focus. It doesn't take long before the pass is cleared. In silence, the workers remove their gloves, clean their chests with water, and gather the tools. I prepare Shadowfax for the rest of the journey. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really hoping that what's going to happen is I'm going to gain the support of the village by helping the village achieve something, and then, which I'm only allowed to get work for the village through Thias, and then from there we can topple her, but we'll see. Because it kept saying I didn't have anyone who was willing to help me. A group of harpies follows your steps, but after half an hour they give up on you, seeing that you remain in large numbers. Your return trip is safe, and the workers cheer up quickly. I keep an eye on our surroundings just in case. Your loud expedition gets noticed long before you reach the gates, and the villagers gather by the open gate. The parents welcome their children, the siblings and friends mock the presumed cowardice of their equals, and the kids ask for stories. For many of the members of your group, it was the first time that they truly left their home. Since no soul approaches me, I ride through the empty village and lead Shadowfax to the stables. As you're crossing the first bridge, a guard greets you with a smile. Our mayor will wait for you in the usual spot. She's glad to see that you're safe. Ugh. You lead your mount to the haystack, and as you loosen up the saddle, yet another person shows up behind you. This time, it's the man with a large club whom you previously met on your path to the priests, though this time he's wearing sandals. You're summoned by Elpis, the Speaker of the Forest, he states solemnly, and you should see her right away. I'll be there right away. I'll go to Elpis. Let's see if it works. We might have lost the help of the druids to this, which might be bad, but on the other hand, they're not very good. At your return, she shifts her staff and stares at you with her stormy eyes. I was asked to speak with you about the rock slide. She looks at the nearby workers. Even though they are engaged in their own tasks, she lowers her voice. And 'tis a good thing that you came here first. She spares you a polite nod. Hamlet should stay as it is. Owler's Dell needs nae growth. Her shoulders relax, as if there's nothing more to add. Tell me more. Our people need nae more gluttony, nae more opulence. Nae creature can ever gain everything that it dreams of, and that's a hurtful pursuit, a run that breaks limbs. Her lips get thinner. Thias' heart belongs to Hovlaven. Give her what she wants now, and she'll be weakened. When the day of hardship comes, she will need have enough strength to accept it. Give her what she wants now, and she'll be weakened. When the day of hardships... But I want to weaken Thias. I'm not sure what I'm being told here. Like... What am I supposed to do here? I don't know why I would be so rude to them in this way. None of this is what I really... Jabal says, I think I need to hear your offer. I guess so. The other one's super rude. Her eyes shine lively as lightning. We do need trade, stranger. We do need beg, do need bribe, do need promise. We give what is deserved. We do what needs to be done. If your shell is near empty, you'll do what's right. Right, so she wants me not to do the rock slide. But I do want Thias weakened, so I'm confused. I guess I'll change the topic. So now I go to Thias and I say I won't keep doing it. Getting a lot of saves going here, but I don't really know what else to do. I go to the main square. I head to Thias. When she notices your approach, she smiles and invites you to sit down. about the fishing hamlet. She encourages you with a smile. I don't understand. Or investigate it, then tell Thias it's all full of horrible monsters? Yeah, I guess that's what we'll do. Yeah, I think we have to investigate it to finish it, so... How much money do I have? I have enough money to sleep here. Thank you for your time. I'll go to Eric's. I can't sleep yet. I can't sleep. I'll sleep. I'll gain all my appearance. I'll gain some hunger. Yeah, that looks good. Alright. Leave the square. Is there anything else to say to Elpis? There is not. Alright, we're venturing out, everyone. A new direction. We finally found another arrow. The longer you follow the corridors of hills, the more daring the harpies get. Hold on. Wait. I shouldn't do this now. It's the end of the stream. Hang on. I go back to Howler's Dell. I'm just gonna go ahead and save, and then we can continue next time. I was too excited. I think this is going actually in the direction we want. I think this is how we're going to bring down Thias. Although I will continue to explore Steep House. Wow, this is absolutely wild that we've done all of this. Okay. Huge progress, just like we hoped. So thank you, Jabal, for the advice about grinding off stream. I think it was very successful. Has definitely worked out. Thank you, everyone, for helping me make the decisions in this extremely tense game. The decisions I care about so much. Yeah, this has been really cool. I'm very much looking forward to what we do next time. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. Goodbye, everyone.